Yo, welcome everybody to episode 100. This is Han Talks First podcast. This is the podcast you're looking for, and I, of course, am your host, Han. Welcome, 100 episodes of the podcast and over 100 videos on the YouTube channel. This is our first ever stream on Twitch, so welcome to you Twitch streamers out there. There are 5 of you joining us today. So glad you could join us. And welcome to everyone else in the chat already. We have Republic Guardian, Aisa, Max, Jason. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We got a lot of great stuff planned. Of course, celebrating the 100th episode of the show, which it took us 2 years. That's 2 years of podcasting to get here. And I'm so thankful for each and every one of you who have made this happen. And of course, as you've seen from the promotion, we're going to be joined by tons of guests today. We have people like the Four-Legged Gamer YouTube channel, Sith Talkers, the Pen the Sword podcast, Ellie Woods, Hoth Off the Press, MarcLawrenceMusic, I Am Rice Crispy, First Galactic, and more, which haven't been put on the listing. But there are tons of people going to join us today. This is going to be a long stream. If you're listening on the podcast, this is a 2-parter. So episode 100, part 1 and 2. So be sure to check out part 2 later. But that'll be on the podcast later. The video, of course, is on YouTube. We have a bunch of great videos to show you today, and just kind of going to be talking about anything that's going on. There's not much news, so we're just going to kind of celebrate today and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So feel free to send in your thoughts or your questions, or even if you just want to say, hey, congrats on 100. I really appreciate it. And so that means next week is the beginning of season 3 of Han Talks First, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the artwork for the podcast for season 3, which will come out next week. Here is the official artwork for Han Talks First season 3. Pretty cool, right? A little different, not like the normal one at all, but still has the character in there. So this should make for a fun 3rd season. There's going to be a new schedule for this show. So if you've been with us for a while, you know that there's a Monday episode, a Wednesday episode, and a Friday episode. And we're actually going to be coming back. We're going to be retracting on that a little bit and just doing one Star Wars episode a week going forward on Mondays. And then on Fridays, we will do the Marvel podcast. So a little bit less content, but now that we're caught up in our schedule, we're going to limit it down to 2 episodes a week. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. And just so you know, if you are new here or you've been with us for a while, there's a tipping option for this show, streamelements.com/hantalksfirst/tip. You can find that link in the description. You don't have to send in your tips, but it's very much appreciated. And of course, we have a Patreon page, of course, at Han Talks First. So you can find us there. Join our team, become a member. And yeah, there's going to be no ads on this video or this podcast today. So it's just going to be us talking. I'm not going to berate you with sponsors or anything like that. We're just going to have a great time and just talk about whatever. First thing I'll do is just say, some of the highlights from the show. Of course, the big one is my first video ever on YouTube, which if you haven't seen it, that's okay. It's not shot very well and it's not edited at all, but it's my trailer reaction to the Rise of Skywalker trailer. So that was 2 years ago. This was the first video I posted on here. And another highlight is my most popular video on the YouTube channel is the top 10 crazy facts about Ahsoka Tano. Has over 1,800, maybe 1,900 views right now, which is really cool. So people love Ahsoka, and I'm going to do more top 10s going forward. Look forward to one coming out really soon, top 10 crazy facts about Revan. Now, the most popular podcast episode, the full-length show, is actually episode 43, and it's titled The Biggest Star Wars Controversies. And I did that with my guest, Dean from Four-Legged Gamer, who will be joining us in just a few minutes here. So that's the most popular one. It was kind of shocked. I thought one of the most popular episodes was going to be my interview with a Lucasfilm employee, Brian Kessinger, which is actually my favorite moment from doing this show, is getting the chance to interview him. And that video version is available on the YouTube page, but you could also just go back and find it on the regular podcast as well. He is a Lucasfilm and Marvel artist. He works for Disney. He's worked on things like Tarzan and just a bunch of other animated projects. But he does a lot of cartoon work and illustrating and conceptual designs for Star Wars and Marvel. So that's pretty much my highlights of the podcast so far in this 2-year time period, and some of my favorite times on this show, and of course all the guests I've ever had and stuff like that. I want to know what yours are, so in the comments below, or DM me on Instagram, Twitter. Tell me what your favorite moment was of Han Talks First, and what made you draw into this show. And I would love to know, and we could share that here on the channel as well. Now, like we do every week, we start off with our first segment of the show, which is Star Wars Replay, and I'm going to go ahead and jump right into that. So here is Star Wars Replay number 10.
Star Wars Replay!
Star Wars Replay is where we replay major moments and events that happened this week in Star Wars history. And on this week, back in 1977, John Williams first began conducting and recording the score for Star Wars: A New Hope. In 1979, filming for The Empire Strikes Back began. In 1984, CBS premiered A New Hope on their network for the first time. And in 1989, Jake Lloyd was born this week. In 2005, Republic Commando was released. Republic Commando was in the news recently because it was announced that they will be remastering and re-releasing the game. And finally, in 2014, Variety revealed that Adam Driver would play Kylo Ren in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. That's it for Star Wars Replay. Tune in next Monday to find out what major moments and events happened next week in Star Wars history. So yeah, that's our most popular segment of the show and some of the most popular video series on the YouTube. So thank you guys for supporting that. We're going to have more segments of the show going forward, such as fan-submitted questions, where we'll dedicate at least 10 to 15 minutes talking about your guys' thoughts on Star Wars or any questions you might have. Now, I did mention at the top of the show, we have a brave alliance of underground podcasters who have banded together to join us to commemorate this glorious triumph today. And we're not going to have everybody in here at once because that would be crazy, and I don't have the RAM to support that. So we're going to bring them in one by one. There were some people that could not make it here live on the show or in person, so they have submitted some video of them just saying hello, and I'm going to go ahead and play that for you now. So here are some of the guests who couldn't make it in person today.
You're Han Solo!
Han Solo. Hi.
Han!
Oh, it's Han. Solo.
It sounds like Han.
Han.
What up, Han?
Hi, it's Chris.
Han, old buddy, old pal, how's it going?
What up,
It's your boy Mark.
Hey, it's your boy Dirty Work in the building.
It's Nate and Noah from the First Galactic podcast.
Hey, just want to congratulate you on 100 episodes on the podcast.
So 100.
Super proud of you. We love talking about Star Wars with you. One of my favorite people. We love you, and here's to another 100 more. So much. Big heart. Big heart.
Rock and roll, bro. Great job.
Just wanted to hop in and say how proud I am of you. 100 episodes. I mean, you've been working so hard and putting so much good content out there. Just sharing the love of Star Wars with everyone, and I just cannot wait to see what else you do next. And I'm just so proud of you. Love you.
We're super happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for allowing us to be part of this community. We love Star Wars, everything about Star Wars.
Yes, thank you, Han. I just want to jump in and say we appreciate you from the start. Still appreciate you today. You've been one of our first and closest friends in this community. So we want to thank you for the opportunities you've given us on your show and helped us out to reach the point where we are growing, engaging, and being part of this great community.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, and may the Force be with you.
Are you stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder?
Who's scruffy looking?
That was great. Thank you all who couldn't make it here today to send in a video for that. That means a lot to me. I'm so happy you could have done that. So now I'm going to bring in some of the live guests here today, and you know them. They've been here before, and so let me now welcome both Lando from the Sith Talkers and Dean of Rugged Gamer. Love the costume.
That's amazing.
Oh, I'm having trouble hearing you, Dean. I think your mic's off. Yeah, you're muted. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, let me know if I'm too loud. I have a brand new mic, so I've been testing the waters with it.
No, you sound great, Lando.
Awesome.
Dean, you're muted on the. There you go.
Helmet muted myself.
There you go.
He is.
How you guys doing?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. First off, Han, right? Because I don't say Han, it's Han. Congratulations on 100 episodes. You know, we kind of met right at the same time. Our kind of Star Wars podcast journey kind of started at the same time. Cheated a little bit with all these extra episodes because I'm almost at 100.
Yeah, you're 97, 98?
90. We just did episode 98, so we're actually two away.
Perfect.
From 100. But man, it's so, like I said, you're such a positive role model for the Star Wars community, and I'm so glad whoever reached out to who, I can't remember, but I'm so glad we met each other, you know, through the Star Wars community, and you're an awesome guy, awesome dude, and you love Star Wars through and through. So
thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't remember who reached out to who actually.
I have not
for some
a clue.
reason I'm thinking it's I see it both ways. I can't remember exactly, but I'm glad we met. And yeah, we like started like almost the same week. I know it was the same month.
March or April. Yeah.
Yeah, and you switched from doing Sunday episodes to Monday, right?
No, I still do. We still drop the podcast on Sundays. Yeah, okay. I think I switched from Monday to Sunday night. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Well, yeah, you guys can.
Oh, I was just saying, you know, I am known, and you know, I write Star Wars songs, right, on my acoustic guitar. So for the special occasion, I did write you a song. So I don't know if you want to hear it first, or Dean, or if you want to go ahead and talk to Han.
Let's hear from Dean, and then play it. I'm very curious.
You got it.
Can y'all hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, just making sure. Because my whole headset.
I love it. I wish you could wear it the whole time.
The helmet like muted everything, so that's why I was over here doing this. I didn't even get to hear what Lando was saying because everything I had no sound anymore. Taking it off and everything. No, but Han, congratulations on episode 100. Glad that I know that you've been working on this for a year, 2 years now, because I know that we originally talked about it. I find it very ironic we're actually wearing the same shirt too. After this, I've been on the same shirt. But
I made it a dress code and have everyone wear the same shirt.
I can go get mine.
You have it?
Yes.
No. What we need to do is all go get the same cardigan.
Yeah. There you go. That'll do it. These guys both have YouTube channels, and Lando has a podcast, Sith Talkers and Four-Legged Gamers. So go subscribe to them, check them out. They work with me a lot, and we collaborate on many things. And they're fantastic, and it's worth following them and supporting them as well on this journey. And so happy you guys could make it here today. So let's hear your song.
You want to? All right. So this is nervous. Just for you. Y'all, you're nervous? No. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. I just hope I play it okay. Because I just I'm kind of a last minute guy. I got up this morning. I got through all my work stuff this morning, and I wrote this song just for you. Not the music, but all the words. And the music and the song is called Han Talks First.
Perfect.
All right. So here we go. All right, here we go. You got a show on Monday and Wednesday, WandaVision on Friday. Oh, all I want to do is love Han Talks First. He goes behind the scenes, he does interviews. I love Star Wars Replay and so will you. Oh, all I want to do is love Han Talks First. He'll reach you, teach you everything he knows about Star Wars. Wanda, even think he likes Jar Jar. So let me congratulate my good friend. Lando and Han are together again. All you gotta do is love Han Talks first. I really love Han Talks first.
That was amazing. Hell yes. I love that. And
there
that's
you
my
go,
new
Han.
intro for the podcast.
that was just for you, my friend. You gotta love Han Talks first.
I really love that song. Great job. You did fantastic. I'm gonna snip that out for sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Welcome everybody who's joining us now. I see some new people from Twitch. Welcome our first Twitch stream. Welcome to the show. Jason says woohoo 100. Thank you, Jason. Chetta and Max says congrats. Aisa, thank you guys so much. Max loves the new artwork. Thank you, Max. Addison's favorite moment was Dharma, the Dharma episode of Star Wars. Yeah, I know you enjoyed that. You told me. I loved making it. The book is fantastic as well. Rural Farm Boy is here. Perfect way to end my 4-day week in a live chat with friends. So glad you could join us, Farm Boy. And thank you for the congratulations as well. And live music. Yes, you get it right here. Max says amazing song as well. So people love the song as well, Lando. It's not just us. So I don't have anything like scheduled to talk about today. But before we just like kind of jump into whatever we want to, there was one more person who couldn't make it to this time period, but they wanted to send in a video saying hello. So here is Daisy Ridley, and this is actually her reaction to the new artwork and 100 episodes.
Good God. Shit, yes.
Thank you, Daisy. I'm so glad you could make that video for me.
So did you hear it? So you heard, right? So there was a recent interview with her, and she said she is open now to returning to Star Wars. Obviously, after the movie was done, everybody's like, nope, not coming back. Nope, I'm all done. Characters wrapped up, all good. And now it's like, never say never.
Well, part of my thought process when they started saying all that is, didn't they sign contracts for like all of them did like 6 years or something, like more than 6 years, like 10 years, a decade worth of stuff?
So the thing I saw the same thing you did. And she did say that, but it also sounded like she was saying she's also not interested, because she also said like, I felt like it was the perfect way to end Rey's arc. And she said something about how she just imagines Rey running through the forest somewhere, being happy with who she is now. But yeah, she also said like never say never, and she'd be open to that idea. There was that loose end there where she got the new lightsaber, which I wish we got more of, because I loved her new saber, and showing that she's going to go on and possibly make a Jedi Academy, possibly do more things in the galaxy, and I would love to see it. And what about you guys?
Yeah, so here's a little tidbit from our latest episode that dropped yesterday. So me and my brother, we're always coming up with crazy new endings to The Rise of Skywalker, because that's what we love to do. And this was our new crazy ending. So this is where you could get Daisy Ridley in episode 10 or 11 or 12. So our quick plot twist was it's the First Order, the Sith Order, and then the Resistance. So Kylo wouldn't join the Emperor. So then the First Order would fight the Sith Order, but then the Resistance would help the First Order defeat the Sith Order. So then we get the tag team with Kylo and Rey. They would help defeat the Emperor. And then as soon as the dust settles, then they turn on each other. And what happens is Kylo has her pinned down, ready to do the death blow, kind of like in the movie, except this time Luke's Force Ghost appears, Anakin's Force Ghost appears, Leia's Force Ghost appears. And in that moment, and you see his lightsaber that's edgy and unstable, it turns stable and blue slowly. And then you can see him turn good. And in that moment, Rey cheap guts him, just like in the movie, except this time she gets up and she has the Sith eyes and she turns Sith. and then you see a blue lightsaber ignite, and it's Finn, and then the movie goes black, and then that sets up another movie. Because then you right, and then that gives Finn another movie and Rey another movie.
Yeah, I really like that, but kind of where I think that they could go further with Rey is they could play the whole, because the dyad in the Force, they could claim that it's almost remorse, grief, and everything. She could turn to the dark side through grief because she did love Ben Solo in a very quick fashion. So what they could actually do is episode 10 could be she turns to the dark side because she's learning dark arts of the Force to bring Solo back to life, to bring Ben back to life. And then now it's Ben for the next trilogy being the good guy, trying to like show Rey, this is who you are. And that's kind of where I think they could go with it. And I think that'd be an awesome story arc, because then we actually get the double-bladed Rey that we saw in the basically the cave. I know it wasn't a cave though, but in the treasury room. But I think that'd be a really cool arc to bring Ridley. And you guys know me, Kylo is my favorite from this trilogy. Bringing back my favorite character, I think that would be an awesome arc.
Yeah. You mean the room in the throne room that survived the crash, the explosion?
It was I can't remember what the name was. It was, they called it like the vault, the artifact room. It was some type of room. I can't remember what it was.
That survived the explosion.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that whole scene there. Well, what's interesting, Max points this out here too. I know he has a theory that they're going to make 10 through 12 again at some point. I also agree. I think there's no chance they're not going to do that sometime in the future. His guess is that Daisy would return for 10 and 12. I'm not sure. If she does, I think it would be for a minor role, like a cameo, just like how they did with the legacy characters in the sequel. I can't see her being a main character, but I think they would do the same thing they did before. They would just make her the new Obi-Wan type and train a new type of Jedi and something like that. But I don't know. You guys think she'll be in 10 through 12?
I think she has to be.
Want to?
I don't think she'd want to, but I think she has to be in 10 through 12. I think it's like she has to. Otherwise, now there's just like, there's already questions about Star Wars of why was 7, 8, 9 needed? And then all of a sudden now you're going to say, we removed all the characters 7, 8, 9. Like, what?
Yeah, I say go away from the right, because we got it right, the mentor thing. I think if they do another sequel, if they do 10, 11, and 12, you put Rey still in her prime, because everybody wanted like a Luke Skywalker movie like in their prime. So give us our Jedi in prime to deal with a conflict. But yeah, do it not as it's her. Once again, it would be her trilogy. And maybe her eventually turning to the dark side. Like your point, Dean. Like, and if she turned to the dark side, then that could set up another trilogy.
Hell yeah, that'd be sick. I think she might even make an appearance in one of these upcoming shows. Yeah, no, maybe not Obi-Wan, obviously, or one of the other ones that take place before her time, but like possibly, what's the one that's coming out after? Oh, it's a movie, Rogue Squadron. So maybe like Rogue Squadron,
Do we know the time period on that one?
It's in the future. It's basically close to where there's still the New Republic's Galactic Fleet.
Okay.
It's supposed to be around that time. So I would assume actually, basically in terms of shows and movies, it's going to be closer to in between Force Awakens and The Resistance. If y'all haven't watched The Resistance, I know that Han and I have talked about this before of if there's the New Republic Galactic Fleet, why haven't they helped in any of the movies? And then we talked about, well, Resistance was before that.
Okay, so with Resistance, I love Resistance. It's definitely the most childish out of all the animated stuff. But I think with this new Rangers of the Republic show, if they follow that, if Resistance was live action, I can see it being like Rangers of the Republic. And I would love for them to do something like that, because I love Resistance so much, especially how it ties in with the sequel.
Han, I loved it too. We must be in the minority, because I actually really enjoyed I have 3 3/4 figures on my wall of the characters. So I mean, I really, and it is the most the animation is real simple too. I really liked it, and at the end, it ties into The Force Awakens. Like you're in the same timeline.
Yep.
Because you get Hux's speech near the end.
And I also really like how they showed that racing was still a thing as well. I'm not a huge racing fan like in real life, but like it's cool seeing that. We'd always like seen the pod racers, but we haven't really seen people actually racing ships. Like we know that Beggars Run and things like that. We've heard about the time trials, but we haven't actually seen races like that. So I like that we saw this different aspect of racing that was X, Y, and Z, not just X.
Yeah, I think the thing with Resistance, why it gets such a bad rap, is because people just don't give it a chance. You know, I think they see the animation style and they see like the trailers, and it just looks goofy, and you know, they just don't give it a shot.
As you said, it's extremely childish, and I have to be in the right mindset to watch it. I enjoy it, but I have to be in the right mindset to watch it. Like it's just one of those things that sometimes it's just so dumb that it's like, do I really need to watch this? Like some episodes are just like pulling teeth, but other episodes are really good. Like the finale, when they were tying it into The Force Awakens, that finale, that 3-run stretch of that finale, phenomenal. That was not Clone Wars-esque, but it was still the most adult the show had felt.
Yeah, I love the finale. If you had to, okay, so we've all seen all 3 of the animated shows, right?
Yeah.
So if we had to rank them in favorability, I'll go first. My top is Rebels. I think it's because I started with Rebels. That might be why, but it's definitely Rebels, Clone Wars, and then Resistance. Rebels.
Which Clone Wars? There's actually 4 animated shows. Are you talking about the anime one or the?
No, you're right.
The anime one was actually kind of cool. I remember watching that on Cartoon Network.
Well, one of the guys who made it is coming back to do Visions. He's doing an episode of Visions. Is that what it's called?
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah. What about, well, just the traditional Clone Wars then, the George Lucas one. What about Dean? What about you? If you had to rank them.
For me, it's the same order: Rebels, Clone Wars, Resistance. Rebels wasn't my first though. Clone Wars was the first. It's just Rebels really spoke to me, and then the final season. Everybody said the final season was really bad, and I was like, in my opinion, the final season was the best. It was the most emotion, the most like heartstrings being tugged, watching the Jedis basically sacrifice themselves, even though they knew that they were basically extinct. And it was just showing what I guess I would say the more modern Jedi, not the Old Republic or the Galactic Republic Jedi. It was just really showing that what like after the Empire Jedis really became out to be of, we're just heroes. We're not having any sort of issues like where it's like the internal conflicts. It was just, we're just heroes of the galaxy, and we're going to be good guys, but we're going to do it the way that it needs to be done to make it happen. It wasn't, let's stick to this old code that is allowing the Sith to even rise.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. What about you, Lando?
Man, I'm so glad I'm different ages than you guys, because I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. So because I absolutely love the Clone Wars. So the Clone Wars would be number 1 for me, and then Rebels, and then Resistance. I don't want to take anything away from Rebels because I absolutely love the World Between Worlds, and I love how it ends with Obi-Wan and Tatooine. Don't get me wrong, but Clone Wars, man, there's so much material in there. I think every Star Wars fan should watch the Clone Wars. And I know there's lots of like offbeat episodes, but that's what I love about the Clone Wars is you're going to get like a 3, 4, 5 episode story arc with just clone troopers. No Jedi, no nothing. You're going to get a story arc with the droids. You're going to get a story arc with Padme. You're going to get story arcs with Anakin. That's why I love the Clone Wars. You flesh out Anakin Skywalker way more. Flesh out Padme, the clones. You find out about the inhibitor chips, Order 66, like the Mortis arc, just right. Darth Maul. It's just on and on and on. You learn about the Force with the father, the son, and it's just like there's so much good stuff. And a lot of people are just like, oh, there's a lot of crap in it. But man, there is so much good stuff. Like the stuff everybody says there's so much crap. I think it's the good stuff. All that story. I don't know, like I love context, right? So I'm one of those people. I don't want to pick up the Rise of Skywalker book to help me better understand the Rise of Skywalker. Sorry, like give me context. Like give me context. And the Clone Wars gives you so much context. So when you go and watch the movies again, especially the prequels, oh man, you just view it so differently. So different.
And I completely agree there. Like there's just so much detail throughout that whole thing where that's actually one of the not a downfall of it, but that's actually one of the reasons why it's second for me, because I've watched every episode numerous times. It's just one of those things of there's so much there.
There's a lot.
Exactly. It can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming because I know that when I talked about the Mortis arc with people and the dagger and everything, how I thought the dagger was the one in the Return of the Jedi. Not Return of the Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker. But basically, my friends were looking at me like, which episodes are you talking about? And I'm like, season 5 episode.
I mean, come on, Obi-Wan has a love interest. I mean, that is amazing. Like that to me, that's amazing. Duchess.
And we always thought he was hermit.
Speaking of his love interest, did you hear the rumor? It like just dropped about his child might be coming into Obi-Wan's child might be coming into the Star Wars world. His unknown child with Satine. I just saw it this morning, and I forgot the website. I'd have to look it up, but let me see if I can find it in my search history. I was like blown away. I forget who the source was, but they were saying basically in the Obi-Wan show, we'll see something about Obi-Wan's child and Bo-Katan's child like being friends. I don't believe it, but it'd be so cool if it happened. Here's the thing about wait, real quick. Here's the thing about the Clone Wars and Rebels, and why they're each like respectively like masterpieces, and it's hard to like pick one over the other because Rebels is essentially its own. Rebels is one big arc, right? Clone Wars does have a big arc in it, but it's episodical, and it's kind of what George Lucas like wanted that Star Wars to be from the beginning. And you can jump in at any episode and kind of be okay with Clone Wars. And with Rebels, you can do that sometimes, but you really need to know like who Ezra was before you get into season 3, and you need to know the history with the Inquisitors and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's why my preference is Rebels, because it's just one elongated movie essentially with the same characters. But the best part about Clone Wars is each episode you get a new character, whether it's like one you've never seen before, or it's some Jedi that was walking in the background of like Attack of the Clones, and you get to like find out so much more about him. Kind of what you were saying, Lando.
Kit Fisto.
So like exactly. Hot
Cad
Kit
Bane.
Fisto.
Cad Bane. I mean, come on. He's like one of the coolest bounty hunters. I mean, and you get more on Asa Ventress. It's just like I said, there's so much stuff. I do agree with you, Han. Anytime you have to go online and see which order to watch the Clone Wars, and you're like, hey, okay, watch season 4, episode 5. Okay, then go to season 2, episode 3. Those go 1, 2. Yeah, it's completely out of order, but they're all in story arcs.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Dean.
Oh, all I was going to say was, and now I've lost it, so it's fine. I forgot. It was, what were you saying right before? Like right before that?
The Obi-Wan's kid.
Oh, yeah, there we go. So that's all you need to say. So with Obi-Wan, the only thing that I have an issue with, if that's true about like his kid, is I've always viewed Obi-Wan as like the hermit type Jedi. Like I know they had love interest, but I always kind of felt that he was one of those people that he was part of as what we've talked about before, the old Jedi code, which was the Jedi Order and everything, and the Council. And then there's the new Jedi that we talked about, where that's kind of Luke, Rey, and so forth from then on. I've always kind of felt like he was one of those in-betweeners. But I always felt that he leaned towards the old side because that's what he grew up and learned. And then that he was raising the new Jedi. So like that's where I'm like, I can't really view him with a kid. So I don't know if I like
celibacy?
that.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I mean, how most of the Jedi were celibate. So basically, the way that I viewed him was he has these new these new era thoughts, but he's still at heart old era, where he will make new era actions, but when it comes to family and his lifestyle, it was old era. That's kind of like the way I've always viewed him, is like, because there's a reason why Anakin, Luke, Rey, in a way, just his lineage of Jedi, we're this new version of Jedi and not sitting around in a circle Jedi. And I know that was different times too between those two, but that's always been my view of Obi-Wan, was just he's old at heart, but has new actions. So I kind of felt like if you were to have a kid, it kind of throws off my image of him. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's just the way I viewed him, as kind of like old age, but new actions.
I agree. I think Obi-Wan is the quintessential Jedi by the book Jedi. Right. Like, so you say Obi-Wan Kenobi to me, and I think this is the by the numbers, I'm all in Jedi code. Like, well, I mean, granted, like I said, he had feelings for, but like, yeah, I don't think he ever crosses that line. I don't think he ever does. Like, that's his character.
And I think you see that in that season 3 of Rebels, when he shows back up, and it's like, wow, this man still believes, his ideals, and he's still a true Jedi at heart. So yeah, I see that as well. I want to go to the chat here. I lost what was being said, but some people are making some comments here. Onelianen, I still can't pronounce that name, man. You're gonna have to type how you say it. It says that Daisy Ridley sad that Daisy Ridley don't want to come back. Yes, don't want to come back. Yeah, I think what's interesting about her comment is that you read it both ways. Whether she'll want. I don't think personally she wants to, but I think she's open to the idea, at least at this time period, like right now. Let's see. I had some other comments here. Yes, Max always talks about KOTOR. Says maybe a trilogy adaptation of the KOTOR game. I think that's been in development at Lucasfilm. I think they're trying to figure out a way to make it work, honestly. I mean, they did
There's
try
a reason why they're remaking the game. Sorry to bring in like my gaming stuff, because y'all know that on the gaming channel at the end of the day. It's already been like confirmed that they're remaking those, at least the first one. That's already been confirmed. It's by a studio that we'd never expect, which a lot of the rumors are Aspire, which is who does all the ports, such as you brought up the Clone Trooper game, in the Star Wars Flash replays, like at the beginning of this episode. They're the ones doing that port. They've done all the ports over to the Switch, the PlayStation, and the Xbox of all the old games. And it's rumored that they're doing the full remaster remake of KOTOR as well. That's who the rumor is of. But there's a reason why they're trying to bring those back to light. I know that they're loved by fans like us, but if you're Disney, you're not going to bring those back just because. Like for a full remake. A port you would do, because everything else Aspire has done has been a port. Like they directly did Pod Racer from N64 and just made that 1080p. Nothing else different. Still same frameworks and everything, and just threw it on the Switch. You don't do that with KOTOR and do a full remaster or remake, and not just a port, unless you have more plans there. Based on the rest of what Disney has ported over to different consoles from old stuff. They've yet to do a remake, and this time they're doing a remake. There's more there.
Well, let me ask you a question, since you're the four-legged gamer. Aspire doing the Republic Commando port release, but it's not going to be on Xbox. Do you have any theories as to why for that? And also, do you think that will apply to Knights of the Old Republic as well?
My guess why it's not on Xbox is every single system you choose is going to cost a little bit more money. At the end of the day, that's the way it is, because you need to make it run the best on this system, and this system. The Switch is a proven seller and sells better than when it comes to third-party games right now. It's selling the best, like when it comes to the console and games. PS5 is still too new, so not everybody has it, so they ported it to the PS4. Then the Xbox has the best backwards compatibility out of all the systems. And the original place that Republic Commando came out was the original Xbox or Xbox 360. I can't remember now, but it's already backwards compatible. So they're not going to get any sales on that game probably, when you can just go buy the original disc for $5-10. So why would I pay extra money? Let's say the price is $10,000 per system port to. I paid $20,000 to put it on the Switch and the PlayStation. People are just going to go buy this game for $5 instead of buy it again for $20. So it's just, why pay $10,000 for that one and we save $10K? That'd be my guess. And KOTOR could get the same treatment because KOTOR was originally Xbox as well. So it may only go to PlayStation and Switch again because the backwards compatibility of the Xbox. So the backwards compatibility of the Xbox could be hurting Star Wars fans in a way, if you want to look at it that way.
Well, it hurts me. Lando, I think I cut you off for a second. Did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I was just like, you started talking about Knights of the Old Republic. Do you think Benioff and Weiss got hired to help with that? I mean, I know they're let go at this point, but do you think they got brought in to maybe help with an adaptation of the Old Republic?
I think that's exactly why they were brought in. I think they were brought in for that, to work with Rian Johnson. And I think they were going to have Rian Johnson bring like the originality to it, like a remake, not actually following the game at all. But I think I think that's what they were hired to do. And then after Game of Thrones came out, people hated it. I didn't watch it. But,
don't bother.
And it's so weird that keeps happening at Lucasfilm. You know, like they bring in people and then something comes out, like with Trevorrow. He did that Book of Life or something movie, and Book of Henry, and then it like was poorly received. So she was like, "You're out." Why do you think this keeps happening? I know we're kind of jumping around.
He had a great script too. He had a great script for episode 9.
Dean, did you read his episode 9?
No, I didn't.
Oh, so good. So good.
There's this wonderful animated adaptation of it that Star Wars Theory made of his episode 9 script, at least for like 5 minutes of it. He does the opening scene, right, with Kylo. Did you see it, Lando?
Yes.
So it's great. You should check that out. And then the script's everywhere. You can read it, but yeah, it was definitely it was a lot different than what.
Yeah, just look at the footnotes. Trust me, just look at the footnotes. All the ideas were amazing, and they were actually fresh, new. It wasn't rehashing storylines, or whatnot. It was actually pretty good. I think I would have really enjoyed it.
Well, yeah, I recently did an episode with a screenwriter, Cameron Pasha. If you guys want to check out that episode, you can.
So good, so good.
It is.
Thank you. And I asked him the question: was episode 9 doomed to fail? Because it seemed like an impossible film to write, to complete not only the trilogy, but the entire saga. And his answer was yes, but Colin Trevorrow figured out a way to do it. And he was basically saying, if he was hired to come in and fix it or end the movies, the trilogy, he said he would have no idea where to start. And other writers would probably be in the same spot. But he said Colin Trevorrow's script was incredible and it was well made. I haven't read the whole thing, so I can't, give my opinion on it. But from what I've seen people talk about, it sounds like it was some cool ideas. But that's just another perspective on that from a professional. So I'll have to go back and read it at some point. If you guys in the chat have read Colin Trevorrow's 9, please let us know what your thoughts were in the chat and we'll talk about it some more. Now, I had some more guests jumping in today. One of them called out. So Lando, Dean, if you guys want to stick around, you're more than welcome to. And I'll just bring in a new guest here. So do you guys want to stay or do you have places to be?
Yeah.
I can stick around for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to welcome now my old friend, my Jedi Master in some ways. This is Zach Valadon from the Pen the Sword podcast. What's up, buddy?
Oh, man. That was very humbling. How are you?
Good, man. I'm so glad to see you again.
Oh,
how have you been?
I'm phenomenal. Hey, congrats on 100 episodes, brother.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're kind of just talking about everything today, but it's been a while since I've had you on, so I wanted to give you a chance to tell people about your podcast and maybe your new company if you wanted to talk about it at all.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. I run the Pen the Sword. Hey, Four-Legged Gamer, good to see you.
How's it going, Zach?
We were on together last time I was on.
Yep. I was going to ask if that was the last time.
Yeah, it was. I run a podcast called The Pen the Sword where I dig in with creative people about what they make and why they make it. And sometimes, if there's enough time, how they go about making it, or what kind of bread basket they need to be in, so to speak, to make the magic happen. So that's that. I'm actually working on putting up a new episode today. It'll be my 25th one.
Well, you're back. You took a little bit of a break. I saw you have 3 more episodes out.
I did. Yeah. I took well, what actually happened was that the computer I'm on now, speaking to you, coming at you telephonically through the internet completely had a meltdown. It's like a 2012 MacBook. And
no.
As Apple does, they build in planned obsolescence. And when new operating systems come out, things start to break. And mine had a little kerfuffle. And we were out of commission.
That's Mac for you.
Yeah. Mac Kerfuffle Jones. That's what I call him.
So I'm really curious about your, do you want to talk about Moonlight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I haven't talked to you about it yet, and I'm really curious to hear more.
Thank you for asking. I feel like I've come on your wonderful show to talk about my nonsense in life.
That's what we're here for.
I love it. Moonlife is it's a coffee company born out of the desire to provide sustainably sourced, delicious, and also environmentally conscious. I guess that's also part of sustainably sourced, but a coffee product for awakened people in the digital age. And so what we do is we work with roasters and green bean sourcers. Green bean is in unroasted coffee that have good relationships with farms. So you can count on the idea that from the farm to your French press, you are getting a sustainably sourced coffee product that is rooted in ethical consumption. So that's kind of part of it. But then the other thing is my business partner and I, who you've met, Omar Lopez. We are looking to donate a significant portion of our profit to wow, I'm blanking words. Find the words. Nonprofits and other organizations that are dedicated to environmental conservation.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, I've tagged all these people below. So if anyone listening is interested, you can go and check out their stuff. We have Sith Talkers here, Four-Legged Gamer, and now Zach Valadon from the Pen the Sword podcast. Highly recommend all these channels and check them out a little bit more. Max in the chat brings up some more interesting topics of discussion. He always does. So he says here, I don't think they'll do the Old Republic movies. It'll not happen soon because we have Rogue Squadron, Taika's movie, Kevin's movie, Rian Johnson's trilogy, and maybe J.D. Dillard. So I brought this up because I wanted to ask you guys kind of where your excitement is most directed at for the upcoming Star Wars movies. For one thing, me and Max have been talking about a lot is the J.D. Dillard movie and the Rian Johnson movie. He really wants Rian Johnson's to happen. But have you guys heard at all about J.D. Dillard, the director of Sweetheart, coming in to make a Star Wars movie?
No.
Nobody? Okay, so he made...
Nope.
There's this Netflix movie there's this movie on Netflix called Sweetheart. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I talk about it all the time. It's pretty much like Creature of the Black Lagoon style filmmaking. It's a monster movie, and it's independent film, very limited, in its scope, but it's fantastic. And it was rumored last May that J.D. Dillard was developing a movie for Star Wars, but they weren't sure if it was going to be on Disney Plus or for a theatrical experience. So me and Max, we talk about it all the time. I know you're excited about it and want it to happen. I actually reached out to J.D. Dillard on Twitter saying, hey, yo, is this happening? He hasn't responded, but that's one I'm really looking forward to if it does happen, because it brings that independent filmmaker approach to it, similar to how the Rian Johnson came in from independent films, made one himself. But where did your guys' excitement lie on upcoming prospects, possible Star Wars films? Sith Talkers, you want to go first?
So the strictly movies, right?
Yeah, just movies.
So as much as I dislike the Last Jedi, because I do, I mean, I love the movie. I completely disagree with Rian Johnson's vision and version of Star Wars. However, he is a brilliant filmmaker. I love all his other movies. So I think a fresh slate and fresh characters, new everything, detached from the Skywalker story with none of those characters. I think he can make a brilliant trilogy. And I will say this, maybe if Rian Johnson did all 3 movies, I might be thinking differently about the sequel trilogy, right? I mean, we can all say that if JJ did all 3, if Rian Johnson did all 3. So, but I still disagree with Rian Johnson's vision of what he did, but I think he could make a brilliant, different Star Wars movie outside the Skywalker storylines.
That was a good point. The one vision thing. I think that goes true for all the Star Wars movies we've seen with George Lucas, of course, and we've seen with The Mandalorian. With George Lucas, Jon Favreau, all this kind of stuff. Dave Filoni with the animated stuff. One vision is definitely it's more accepted by people. I like that comment you made. Four-legged gamer. What about you?
For me, I'm now interested in the JD thing because
yes,
I've actually always kind of wondered why there hasn't been like a horror movie or a monster movie from Star Wars, because there's plenty of lore out there to make that happen. So I think that'd be actually a really cool, different take. Like, give it where there's just some sort of monster that has armor against lightsabers, and you can still get the Jedi Force action in there, and they're on the run from this creature, and then they have to learn over time while this creature's popping up out of nowhere that they have to fight off and then get away from. I'm imagining a video game now like Alien Isolation. Like, I think turning a Star Wars movie where it's like that would be actually really cool. But before you mentioned that, Taika's movie, just because I really like what Taika does, and then what he did with Mandalorian in the first season, he's got me on board whenever he makes a Star Wars anything. And it's almost anything he makes in general is like, he's such a, like, he's already a great director, but feels like he's new on the block still, but all his stuff is so strong. Everything he touches is gold, basically. So, like, I'm really excited for his movie, whatever it could be.
Another independent filmmaker. What We Do in the Shadows, Hunt for the Wilder People, all that stuff. I'm psyched for his movie as well. You made a comment about Star Wars should move into like the horror or genre bending in general.
Just the spinoffs.
And well, yeah, that's why the second episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian is one of my favorites, because it was essentially a horror film, a monster movie, and the one with the crate dragon. But it like takes it's bending genre of Star Wars, and I like that too. I definitely think it's possible, and I'd like to see more as well. Zach, give it to me, Daddy.
Taika's film. I want to get like a Ragnarok in Star Wars. I think that would be phenomenal. I'm hopeful that because of this new era that they're visiting in the comics and the books world, the High Republic. I read Light of the Jedi, and it left a lot for me to be desired. And I'm hopeful that the follow up is, and I don't just mean that in terms of like it was like a good cliffhanger or anything like that. I felt like they introduced thousands of characters that I was not wedded to. And maybe that was just because it was constructed in the form of a narrative book. And there are so many people, and they couldn't extrapolate on every single one of them. And it will be a series. I would love to see a movie set in this universe, or not this universe, but rather this time frame. There's so much cool stuff going on. And I love watching videos of like Knights of the Old Republic cinematics or Old Republic cinematics, where they're like these old time Jedi are having these crazy lightsaber fights. Some of my favorite elements from the prequel films, of course. So I'd love to see more of like this High Republic days, what kind of combat is going on, how they can really explore sort of like the golden age of the Jedi here. Would be very cool.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention that Max also pointed out in the chat, thank you, Max, is that the rumor of JD's movie is supposed to be about Exegol and the history of that. So it could also be, a genre film in the horror department. And I think an Exegol film would be fantastic. I mean, I loved that opening scene of Rise of Skywalker was amazing. I was pissed when they released that before the movie came out. They put like a little teaser or opening scene. I can't remember what they called it, but it showed Kylo going to Exegol and basically hearing Palpatine's voice. And I was so mad that I saw that before the movie.
They called it a trailer, and they literally showed the first minute of the movie. And like once I saw the movie, I was like, at least it was the beginning they showed us.
Yeah, I would have loved to seen that for the first time on the big screen. I mean,
like it was. They didn't even chop it up. It was Palpatine was saying, "I've been every voice in your head," and it literally gave that whole segment. I'm just like, I've already watched this.
Right? Yeah. I don't know.
I'm glad they didn't drop the visual of Palpatine until after that, though.
Yeah,
they stopped it at in your head, and then it closed.
Yeah.
I still think that's funny, bringing James Earl Jones back for that, because you could tell he's like a 90-year-old man. In your head. Okay, I have a very
before we jump from the Exegol thing, I think that would be a horror style movie, but I think it would go away from the monster style, because I'm imagining like a Sith ghost movie. Just because that's what Sith like to like. That's where my head goes. Is just because that's what we saw at Exegol. We didn't know what all those figures were. We just knew they were kind of like ghost type Sith worshippers. So it'd be interesting to make that like the type of movie is a Jedi or somebody gets crash landed on that planet just by accident because nobody knows how to get there and they happen to accidentally find it. That'd make an interesting movie.
I'm right there with you. Okay, so I have an offbeat topic. Now this is something that I actually kind of dipped into yesterday. I think it was. I went live on Instagram with Aisa. Some of you know Aisa, and we were kind of just talking about whatever. By the way, I started this new series on Instagram Live, Hans Hangouts. So if you guys are ever around for those, those are really fun. But we started talking about this right here. The comparing and contrasting between the Jurassic Park and Star Wars, mainly talking about the original trilogy of Star Wars and the original 3 of Jurassic Park. And we had some really interesting conversations about it. So I wanted to kind of bring that to the table today and ask you guys, have you ever thought about the comparisons between not only this trilogy, like differences between Jurassic Park and Star Wars, but like Star Wars trilogy compared to other trilogies out there, like Back to the Future, Lord of the Rings, things like that. What are, Dean, I think you have something to say.
Harry Potter's direct ripoff of Star Wars.
I knew that was coming, and I know Zach has something to say about that.
Yes, that was my, like, as soon as you're talking, I was like, I've done this numerous times, and Harry Potter is a ripoff.
Zach, you want to go to that? Because you're our Harry Potter guy.
Yeah, I mean, in as much as they're both like heroes' journeys, yeah, but I don't like. If it were a direct ripoff, there would be, more like nepotism. there'd be more nepotism going on. But I think the most fleshed out family we get is the Weasley clan.
But they brought in lightsabers. They brought in lightsabers in Harry Potter.
Okay, so that's actually a movie mistake. That's a movie mistake. That's a priori incantatum happening between Harry and Voldemort's wand because of the wand's relationship, what they're crafted out of. In the movie, you see that happen between Dumbledore and Voldemort and between a few other people who duel. That is an inconsistency with the lore. So it's if you're talking about like the way the spells collide and they kind of have like the crackling going on. Yeah, definitely a movie mistake, or I think a very big oversight since they have priori incantatum inside of them.
Thank you, Zach. Wand lore. It's so funny. My sister-in-law is a huge Harry. I visited my brother yesterday, and we were talking about that, the movies versus the books, and I don't think if you don't understand the wand lore of Harry Potter, you won't understand the movies at all, or especially how the movies end. And yes, I think you have to read the book. The books are so much better. But yeah, the lore in Harry Potter is so good. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not arguing that. It is definitely fleshed out. But in my personal opinion, there are so many. I won't even say high level because it's not low level copying, but I'll say medium level. There is so much of it that it's, in my opinion, especially the movies are direct ripoff. But even when it comes to the books, I've read all the books. I enjoy the series. Don't think I'm knocking Harry Potter. Great series. Like the upcoming open world game, Legacy, Hogwarts Legacy or something. I'm dying for.
That looks so good.
But like, there's so many things.
And another game that's not going to be on Xbox.
Well, how about you leave the Xbox family? That's the easiest way to handle
come
it.
come to PlayStation.
PlayStation, Nintendo are where it's at. But basically, like, there's so many high level things that are similarities where it's just like you have your Empire and the why am I forgetting Death Eaters? Yeah. Death Eaters. Yeah, okay. You have your Imperial troopers and everything in the Death Eaters, and you have Voldemort, things like that. Being Vader or the Palpatine, whoever you want to look at it. You have his top minions being Tarkin, etc. It's just there's so many similarities that, again, not a direct ripoff, but there are so many things that JK may have watched Star Wars the night before. She waited a week to continue writing, and then not realizing that she was getting that idea from over there, she wrote it on the paper. Like, where it's like she wrote it in her own words, but it was still, there's too many similarities where you have the chosen one. Like, at the end of the day, you have the chosen one on both sides. That's the direct, blatant ripoff. Like the chosen one right there. And I know that that's something that's through a lot of movies, but we're talking about, like, Star Wars was one of the in the 70s, so it's just one of those things of, it may have not been the first, but for me, it was the first of the chosen one type movie.
Yeah.
That's a good
that
point.
one I'm willing to agree on. The chosen one is kind of that. Now that's a trope with regard to like the Death Eaters and Stormtroopers and kind of like having a constructed enemy organization. That's just to me that is too archetypal. Like,
and you're right about that, because the Death Eaters could actually hit something, so you're not wrong there.
I just want to point this out in the chat.
What I want to what was
Zach,
he
you have
referring?
a fan.
I
have no idea.
That's my dad. I wonder if Lewis, if you could tell me to what you were referring there, that would be really helpful.
Do you want it to pop up on the chat?
Do you want it to come up?
Like, do you want to see that?
Okay, let me ask you guys. There's Galaxy's Edge and there's Harry Potter World at Universal. How would you? I think we're all Harry Potter fans in some capacity here. How would you feel is if when they built Harry Potter World, they only based it off the Fantastic Beasts movies? Because that's kind of what we got with Galaxy's Edge. They based it off sequel movies only. Let me hear your thoughts.
Is it a zoo?
Is it I'd be down, actually. I would love it.
Go into his briefcase.
Yes, like, is the like park inside a giant briefcase, and then it's a zoo inside.
I get it, because it's like it's the newest, right? It's the newest thing out on the market, right? So I get it on that marketing aspect, but I think when you if you open up the broad spectrum, I think more people would flock to an original trilogy setup for Star Wars and Harry Potter. I mean, look at it. Was it Diagon Alley? Oh my God, I would love to walk through there. That would be amazing. I would like to buy my own wand and go to the twins' candy shop. I would love it. So same thing as Star Wars. I want to walk through the Mos Eisley Cantina. I don't want to walk through the sequel trilogy cantina. I don't care about that cantina. I want to walk into the Mos Eisley build a replica. Build Han Solo's table. Let people take pictures like at the seat. I sat where Han Solo sat. I don't know, right? That would be amazing.
So I have there's a Star Wars cantina 2 blocks down the road from me.
Yes,
and it's made to be like an exact replica of
except for the time that I went with you. The time that I went with you was Game of Thrones themed. I went to go visit Han.
Dean was visiting. Yeah, go ahead.
I went to go visit Han, and he was so excited to take me there, because that's how me and Han became good friends, was through Star Wars. And he's like, I can't wait to go. And then we get there, and it's like everybody's dressed in Game of Thrones stuff, and like they have a tree, and like it's like, yeah, I can see how this is cool, but right now this is Game of Thrones. They covered up
all the Star Wars walls and all the bar, and they covered everything up and made it look like a Game of Thrones world.
Oh my God.
And I was like, Dean, I'm so sorry. I'm so pissed.
No way. Jon Snow's table.
Basically.
Because it was at the time, it was like the worst timing because it was right when the series was ending, and that's when you were visiting, and that's when we went, and it was like, good Lord, man.
If you want a good alternative in the Los Angeles area, if you go to Santa Monica and you're into poetry at all, there's a place called Barkowski, and it's a Charles Bukowski themed bar. And they cycle photographs of him on the wall. All the drinks are themed after his major works. It's a very kind of glum place. It's very worth checking
What part
out.
of Santa Monica? Is it in Hollywood?
No, it's near to the there's a, you may have heard of this music store since you're also in music. There's McCabe's Guitar Shop, and it's about 2 doors down from McCabe's.
Okay. Well, that's not too far from me.
Yeah.
Bukowski's?
Barkowski.
Barkowski. Okay, cool. But well, we're running out of time for some of our guests here, but I wanted, before like a few of you leave, I just wanted to ask you, what, since we're celebrating 100 episodes, do you have any favorite moments from Han Talks First, or like a fun story about, an episode we've done together, or anything like that? Maybe it was a post you saw. I'll start with Dean, Four-Legged Gamer.
For me, and that was Ray, by the way, that popped up on camera. Like, I named her after Ray. That was my dog, one of the Four-Legged Gamers. Just to throw that in there since she set up. But my favorite had to be when you and I just got lost talking about Mandalorian and the finale for that, because we went on for 2 hours, and I think that we had to cut out probably 45 minutes of it at least, and it was still an hour and 15-minute YouTube upload and podcast.
Where we had to cut out 45 minutes of you talking, because once you start, man, you guys heard of mansplaining? Dean is the definition of mansplaining. No, it was a fun episode. I really enjoyed it. Sith Talkers, let me hear it. Favorite moment?
Oh boy, I mean, it's hard to pick one, man, because I've been a big fan like since the beginning, and I think I've always told you I really like, personally, because I do religiously listen to your show. I really like your deep dives into like especially the stuff lately, the behind the scenes. I think I told you, man, I am a huge like documentary behind the scenes guy. So, and there's not too many channels out there or stuff that like deep dive into that material. So for me, as a Star Wars fan, you hit that itch for me, and I just love hearing about you and like you doing the research and you deep diving into A New Hope, into Empire Strikes Back, into the science of Star Wars. I mean, that's like one of my favorite episodes, and that was one of the real early ones, was the science. And I think I told it, like, I love like stuff that gets the deep dive behind the scenes stuff. I absolutely adore it. And dude, you do an amazing job at it, my friend. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, the science of Star Wars is still one of my favorite episodes I've done. It's I learned so much. I have like tons of these old books that cover like random topics. Like the next one I have coming up is like the philosophy of Star Wars, and like I got a book on Dharma and all this stuff, and they're so interesting, and it's a different perspective on the franchise. So yeah, I love doing those. But I'm glad you enjoy it. I think my favorite moment of Sith Talkers is it's the early episodes, like 2 years ago, and it was it was you, Steve, and you had some other guest on. I can't remember who. Someone else. Anyway, it was like one of the first times you introduced the segment of your show, D Time with Lando. And it's the first time I heard it, I think I texted you, and I was like rolling in my car. And I was with my girlfriend. We had to pull over, and she was like, "Is he really doing this on his show?"
And it happened completely by accident. Like,
no way.
It's just funny how things happen. And it started as like a joke. It started as me going to an island, right? And then that was kind of the conversation. And then it turned into D Time with Lando, but the song wasn't there. Then eventually, man, I was just at work one night, and I was, this is when I was working 2 jobs, and I was sitting at FedEx, and in my head, like I said, it's crazy where I just come up with stuff. And, so I come up with songs and stuff, and I was just sitting there, and I was going, Lando. And I was like, that's kind of catchy. I was like, I gotta find some catchy music for that. And there, there's a song in my editing software. It writes free. It's a, copyright free music. And I use that. But I have different versions. I play a version on my guitar that I wrote. So, but yeah, man, it's completely by accident, but it's fun.
Well, it was so funny because every time occasionally that melody will come into my mind and I'm like singing it like at the store or something. But what's funny is the first time I checked out your brother's page, he's in a pod, and I think they changed it to something else now.
Yeah, they're Pokemon now. Yeah,
Pokemon. So I heard that in the background and I made a comment and I was like, oh my God, you won't believe what just came to my head. And I typed it out and he said something like, yeah, that's different here or something. But no, you guys need to go check out Sith Talkers.
Yeah. And once again, that's what I love about Star Wars and the Star Wars community. You can come to my show and it's pure entertainment, silliness. We have a lot of fun. And then you go to Han's show. And like I said, he does deep dive. He has fun too, but he does deep dives and behind the scenes. Like I said, I love it.
The
man.
less fun show.
No, I'm not saying that because I absolutely love it. So I'm just saying, like, there's different flavors of Star Wars and different podcast flavors of Star Wars. And that's why I love the community because everybody's so different.
No, yeah. Your show is one of the reasons why I wanted to start doing new segments like Star Wars Replay. So
awesome.
That. So
awesome.
Yeah, your Sith Talkers is a show.
It's a show.
So
yeah,
go check them out.
Don't come to us for deep dives and all that stuff. It's pure fun, entertainment. Yeah.
And then Four Legged Gamer has a YouTube channel you should check out. He just did a new video about Bitcoin. Yeah, how to start mining and stuff like that. You could explain it better than I could, but you guys should check out his channel as well. And then Zach, if you don't mind, I'll leave you here for just a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. No,
yeah?
I don't mind.
Okay, cool. Well, do you two Four-Legged Gamer Sith Talkers have anything else you want to say before we move on?
I just want to say congrats again, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
and,
same here. Yeah, Han, thank you so much for inviting me, and congratulations. Like I said, well worth all the success, all the thumbs up, all the views. Everybody keep supporting this man. He's a good guy. He's a positive influence on the Star Wars community, and I love it.
Thank you. Well, thank you guys so much, and we'll have you on again soon, and I'll be supporting you guys as well. So again, guys, go subscribe to Four-Legged Gamer and Sith Talkers, and they'll be back sometime in the future. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks again for joining us.
See you later, guys.
All right, and so we're still here with Zach for a little bit, but we're going to bring in a new guest, and this person has been on the show before as well. Actually, what's funny is the first episode of this podcast I did by myself. It was the introduction to Han Talks First. The second episode I had with Zach, and we talked about the top 10 iconic moments in Star Wars.
You did.
The third episode I ever did was with this man right here.
I always have to have an entrance. I'm sorry.
What a reunion!
So yeah, we're here with Lewis Woods, who is a what would you call yourself? I'm actor, filmmaker.
Yeah, filmmaker, actor, creative.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy you could be here.
Stuff.
Wait,
and what was that?
Oh, I said maker of things, doer of stuff.
Zach, can you are you able to turn your mic up a little bit?
Oh yeah, let me see. How's that?
Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, right there. Cool.
So yeah, we have these gentlemen with us. We're just going to talk about kind of whatever comes to mind, and also for the first time, bringing in someone else here. I've been on his show before. He has not been on mine, but we've chatted for a couple months, became friends, and reuniting at last. Ever since Return of the Jedi, is Luke and Han. This is Luke from Hoth Off the Press. How's it going, buddy?
How's it going?
And all these people are creative people and have great projects which you can find and follow. Luke, tell people since it's your first time here.
Yes, it is.
About
Hello.
your show, and how you got started and where they can find your podcast.
Well, my podcast, like everyone's, is on everywhere you can find a podcast. It's on Spotify and YouTube and Anchor, Apple Podcasts. I did a podcast because I was on it's a call-in show for Steel Wars, and then that kind of gave us the motivation to do a podcast again. So I thought of a name. I decided to do Hot Off the Press, which I quite like, and that seems to have struck a chord.
I love the name. I think the name's great.
I quickly had to search everywhere, make sure it wasn't taken.
You got lucky. No, I love it. Hoth Off is really great. You guys should check him out as well. I'll link that below in the description so you guys can just click it and go straight to it. You guys missed it earlier today. I had Sith Talkers and Four-Legged Gamer on, and Sith Talkers actually wrote a song for my 100th episode, and it was really fun. So if anyone who's just joining us now, go back and check out the earlier part of the show, and you can see that there. So we're just going to talk about anything we want to. We had some comments come in. I'll jump into some of them now, and we'll see where this conversation takes us. So originally we were talking about the animated series of Star Wars and Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance, and there's some new ones coming up, Visions, and some other ones as well. I want to hear from you guys. What's your favorite Star Wars animated show? The ones that are out now, and what are you most looking forward to? We'll start with Zach.
Yeah, definitely my favorite of all time is going to be the Tartakovsky, like Samurai Jack style Clone Wars. That's not canon anymore. But we had Dirge in that show. There was, General Grievous with a different and cooler voice, in my opinion. And really violent show, which I loved. I'm looking forward probably most to Visions. I think that's the kind of the anime style vignette one that we've got coming, right?
So where does that rank on out of the movies? Is that still pretty high for you, over some movies and shows that might be coming out?
Oh, you mean that old Clone Wars cartoon?
Yeah.
It ranks fairly high. I'm really a shell for the cinematic universe, though. So I think, I don't know. I love everything that's been done in the canon still. The modern shows are good, but there was something really kind of dark and robust about that original cartoon. I think it still stands above those newer ones we're getting. Rebels is phenomenal. Clone Wars is phenomenal. Obviously, this new season of Clone Wars we got is pretty damn near untouchable. But I really, really love that old show. And I think it stands above those to me since it came out when I was a kid. But for the movies are kind of still a cut above the rest.
Yeah. So with Lewis, you were actually involved with Disney at the time that they were making some of these shows. So you have some firsthand experience. And we actually know we have a mutual friend who was actually the body map person for the character Sabine, and they mapped that character from one of our friends.
I do. I was like, oh my god, you do, and then I realized I know her too.
Lewis, tell me about, because you said you had to watch certain episodes when you worked there, right? It was part of the job.
I'm kind of nervous of saying what I did because of I want to work with Disney in the future, but I was friends with Darth Goofy. It was literally Goofy dressed up as Darth Vader with heart boxers. I don't understand why. I wish we could pull up a picture.
I'm looking.
Yeah, but no, Rebels is definitely one of my favorite cartoons, only because of the experience that I had at Disney World with Star Wars weekends. Yeah, but I love Star Wars, but I'm still learning. So please be patient with me when it comes.
Well, the episode we did together a long time ago was called Padawan Q&A, and you just asked questions you wanted. You're still Padawan, yeah. So we're here to help you become a Jedi Knight today. But Luke, what are your thoughts on the animated series? Do you have a favorite, and what are you looking forward to most? What's your rank? Your favorite animated series and least favorite?
It's nice to hear the 2D animated Clone Wars get a mention, because I've seen that and it's really cool. There's a fight in there with Anakin and the Sergeant Ventress. and you really see Anakin's like it. It highlights his ability to turn to the dark side more so than the early series of the 3D Clone Wars did. It's really good. I do recommend it. My favorite animated show. I like the Clone Wars because of season 7. If it wasn't season 7, it would be Rebels. Keep on going back and forth between the two. I watch Rebels duels and I'm like, oh, it's amazing. And I watch some of the space battles in Clone Wars and they're really good. But I think it does. I think Rebels more so because it does draw from Ralph McQuarrie's illustrations more. And you have that kind of style for it. I love that Jason Isaacs is in it as the Grand Inquisitor. And I like that we get to see a lot of James Earl Jones as Vader. I am excited for I'm excited for Visions, and I'm really looking forward to Bad Batch because you go from the Clone Wars to then Revenge of the Sith, and then Revenge of the Sith into the Bad Batch. You'll have that kind of continuous, continuity. You'll have their stories carried right through.
Yeah, I'm
really
glad you
excited to see
mentioned
how it goes.
Bad Batch because I haven't talked about that at all on my show yet, and so I'm glad you brought it up. The thing about Bad Batch, I like the trailer they put out a couple weeks ago, and at first I was like, really, they're going to do a show on Bad Batch? It's limited, right? It's only one season. Does anybody know?
I'm not sure.
I think
it's
they're
a
only
limited
doing
series.
a limited run. Yeah.
For me, can you explain what Bad Batch?
Oh yeah. Before I do, check it out. I found the picture. So here's what Lewis was talking about. Here's Goofy.
Yeah, there's my boy. That's Goofy.
So you were friends with this man.
I was inside. I mean, I was friends with this. Wait, whoa! I was friends with this man. Yeah,
you were inside.
I was
Good choice.
with Goofy. I was inside Goofy. Yeah.
You get his number.
Yeah, we call all the time.
Did you buy him dinner at the Disney buffet or whatever?
The Mickey Mouse buffet. Yeah.
Goofy's
he
Kitchen.
Takes me out to dinner, honestly.
Goofy's Kitchen. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on from that amazing.
But Bad Batch. What? Can
Bad
you
Batch.
what
Did
that
you
is?
watch the ending of Clone Wars? The last year's, was it last year? Season 7 ending?
I know what happened, but I did not watch. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so there was these 4 characters introduced, and they're part of this group of defective clones. Is that right? Clones that kind of have some kind of disability, or they're augmented in some way, and they're part of their own little unit, kind of like an A-team, and they kind of go on their own missions and do their own stuff. So they're an interesting group of individuals, but they're getting their own standalone series called The Bad Batch, coming to Disney Plus May the 4th. And so I wasn't interested in that show at first, mainly because I was still on a high from the ending of Clone Wars, and I really want something more like Rebels because it's my favorite. But the trailer came out, my interest grew a little bit more. However, I still don't know where it's going to go because it's probably going to take place after Clone Wars. And I think it'll be with their new member. Was it Fives? Who was the new member? Or was it I can't remember who it was. Anyway, but yeah, Bad Batch.
I don't know their names, unfortunately. I'm really bad.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know
had
the names of those
one new
clones.
member join, and I can't remember, but yeah. So Lewis, you have to check that out. Zach, do you have any thoughts about Bad Batch?
Yeah, I thought they were cool. I mean, it was a cool element to the last season, and I got the sense that they're kind of, they don't really have ROEs to work with. Like, they don't have any rules of engagement, so they're just kind of like, they're like a real renegade squadron here, and I think it could be a cool. I think it's going to be a cool one of my desires is to see what happens to clones after stormtroopers start to get sort of integrated, and to see how some of these folks who don't really necessarily belong to the Galactic Empire are going to go forward.
Well, it's fascinating, right? Because what happened in that time period after A New Hope? We know that Palpatine switched to not using clones anymore, but one of them popped up. Rex popped up in Rebels at some point with him and his crew, and they were kind of outcasts. at that point. And I think this show is going to take place after the events of Revenge of the Sith. So it takes place in that time period. So we might get to see more expanded on what happens to a clone then. But it's an interesting topic to definitely for sure. What is Luke? What is your favorite part about the Clone Wars, or about clone lores?
It's the fact everyone's fighting style is highlighted. Even the clone troopers, like, they're just down in the dirt, punched in the face. Like, there's an episode where Grievous gets punched in the face by a clone, which is amazing. But the Jedi's, like, the fighting style is more highlighted, so you see why everyone has an advantage in a particular battle that they're in. And again, like the fight with Obi-Wan, I don't think it's not. Is it Adagalia who wins Savage Opress and Darth Maul? She gets, like, for 20 seconds, gets murdered by Savage Opress. I think he stabs her and then he headbutts her and then he sticks his thorns in her. But
yeah, that was a great string of episodes.
But in that, you see Obi-Wan's ability to bide his time when he's kicking Savage Opress in the knee, and slowly kicks him in the knee, and at the right moment he kicks his knee and, like, puts his leg out and then chops his arm off. That's when Obi-Wan gets his, like, psychopathic hair strand when he goes. When Obi-Wan, his one bit of hair goes down.
Sorry, I lost you for a second. What was that last thing you said?
About Obi-Wan's hair strand, when his hair strand comes down.
Oh yeah.
It's like a Disney villain in the 90s, like, you know, he means business kind of thing. Yeah.
People were recently talking about that on Twitter. Tobey Maguire.
When he does this, when he gets Dark Spider-Man.
I wish I could do that.
Oh no, I'm compared to that.
Emo Spider-Man. Speaking of Spider-Man, did you guys see the news that you guys know who Ash is from Evil Dead?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's best friends with Sam Raimi, and Ash made an appearance in every Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Really?
He was the waiter at the restaurant in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
He was the security guard at the Opera House in Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man 2. I can't remember what he was in Spider-Man 1, but
I have to rewatch these movies.
He's going to make an appearance in Doctor Strange because Sam Raimi is making the second one. And so the theory is that he's also shooting a scene for Spider-Man 3 with Tom Holland, and it's going to, like, bring all the universes together.
Well, they are saying they're going to converge now, right? Like, Tobey Maguire's all but confirmed for this new kind of cinematic multiverse.
Dr. Ogden.
Yeah.
Albert Molina, I think is his name. He's back. Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
The thing about that is, like, they've confirmed the villains are going to be in Spider-Man 3.
We never confirmed.
It's heavily rumored that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire will be in it, but they haven't, like, outright said it. So my, like, theory is, if they're in the movie, do they risk waiting and having the reveal in the theater, or are they going to put it in the marketing material? Because it's kind of risky.
I think they're going to wait. I think they're going to wait.
Wait for the theater?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay. That leads me back to something we were talking about earlier. We were talking about kind of comparing and contrasting trilogies of Star Wars with other movies like that. I mentioned Jurassic Park, and one thing about Jurassic Park versus Star Wars is one is I think Star Wars is definitely the most successful franchise in the world, but I think Jurassic Park, those original 3 movies, are actually more popular than the original Star Wars trilogy. What do you guys think about that? I could be wrong, but I feel like more people watch Jurassic Park, and every kid loves dinosaurs, you know?
I feel like you're wrong.
Really?
I'm 3 get, like, I like them as movies, but they get kind of dismissed. Like,
yeah.
Like, the Jurassic Park movies go on, they get less fans.
They have more cult status to me, if anything. They kind of like, they're like what Pulp Fiction is to the art film world.
like we had Lost World and like all these other franchises, but like I feel like the fandom when it comes to Star Wars was stronger than Jurassic Park. I don't. Yeah, I feel like
not fandom, not
fandom, but
I'm
like
talking about general audience. Yes, the Star Wars movies still make money, but that's relating to the fandom because we're going to see it 10 times in theaters.
And more accessible.
But that first Jurassic Park movie is so damn iconic.
It is
iconic. The first Star Wars is as well, but
the puppetry.
It's also more relevant because it came out more recently.
Yeah, true.
Life.
Interesting.
Why was I offended by that? I was like, no.
So I'm so offended. I can't believe you said that. You're out. I'm totally kidding.
I can't believe, like, what did you send me? It was like a dark room. Like, Jesus.
The Phantom Zone of podcast.
Don't do that again. I'm so sorry. I won't disagree with you. I promise.
You asked what favorite memories are of Han Talks First, and that's probably going to be my new one.
That's mine too. Good. First you were inside Goofy. Was it as dark as the room I just sent you to?
Yes. Did I tell you about my story about how I met Mark Hamill?
No, I would love to hear it.
I never told you the story.
No, go.
Oh, so I was friends.
It's weird that you went from the Goofy comment to how I met Mark Hamill.
Because it has to do with Goofy. It has to do with Goofy.
Okay.
I was friends / inside Goofy. I hope Disney doesn't see this. And I was Darth Goofy that day, and they were like, "Oh, you have a visitor in your dressing room." So like me, Mickey, Donald, all went back to our dressing room, and Mark Hamill was standing. And
wow,
as a character, you're not supposed to talk. So I was like, "Oh, should I say something?" But I'm like super excited to like say, "Hey, what's up?" And Mark was like, "You can take your clothes off. Like it's fine. Like you can take your mask off. Excuse me." Like,
Strip.
Excuse me.
Did he use a mind trick? You will take
your clothes off.
Hey, kid.
No, and I was super excited. He put the Goofy head on and tried on my sweaty glove. It was super cool.
Wow. Were you able to talk after you took the mask off?
He had I think an interview like right after, but he like waited to like visit us because we really were like dying to see him. So it was very quick.
When was this? Right? When was he at Disney?
2014, I think.
Oh, interesting. So right
Star Wars Celebration 2014.
Oh, that was a big one.
Yeah.
Wow,
I think it was
that's
the last
cool.
one too, maybe, or the second to last.
I have never met anyone who's worked on Star Wars. I've interviewed one person who worked on some of the books, but I've never actually met anyone who's worked on Star Wars, but Luke has. Yeah?
Well, no,
do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Me podcast a week ago was Mark Austin, and he was a animation supervisor for ILM and Disney. He did the creatures in the 97 edition of New Hope, and he was Boba Fett in the reshoots. But I mean, I was nerding out because of that. But then I found out he worked on like Casper and then Dinosaur and Warhorse and Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
And an advert for a tea bag brand in the UK in the 90s. He did the cartoon for that, which for me was exciting. But I've met David Prowse at the Comic Con. I've met Julian Glover, who was General Veers.
Oh, wow.
And I was at a panel with Carl Weathers, Ian White, Julian Glovers, and Kenny Baker. And
wow,
there was a bunch of like.
You've met a lot, man.
It was the same Comic Con, but I've not done a. I've not met them outside of Comic Con. I've met Christopher Judge twice to talk about another franchise, Stargate, and Kratos. He's cool.
Which one was your favorite meeting?
In person, David Prowse, because he was really polite. He didn't want to. Every time I was like being polite to kind of back away, he was asking more questions, and I was like, okay. And then he was.
Yeah, I hear all the time that he's just such a sweetheart, or he was. He passed away a couple months ago, unfortunately, but I'm glad you got to meet him.
Yeah, like just like nice humble guy. I mean, Kenny Baker was there. He didn't look like unwell, but he was just like happy to meet people, I think. Do you want to know who isn't such a good?
Oh my god,
isn't such a nice guy?
Yes.
I mean, he might have been having an off day, but he's the. It is Admiral Priet. Captain Needar gets killed, and then Admiral Priet takes over. That's right. It's him that actually played him.
Admiral Piet?
He just a bit dismissive of people at his table. If you were just there to chat, he was like, if you're just there to chat and see you're a fan and that, he was like, oh, okay. He was only bothered if you were ready to drop some cash from his photographs. He wasn't bothered of just, which is like a bit. On the other hand, David Prowse, I did the same. I was new to convention. I didn't realize I had these stacks of stuff to buy at the tables. But he was not as humble, shall we say.
Wow.
It was just annoying because you kind of get there and he's like, oh, Kevin. He kind of sat back in his chair uninterested.
Yeah, I've been to San Diego Comic-Con once, and even then I didn't meet anybody that I like follow the work of. So at some point I want to meet someone from Star Wars. George Lucas is top of my list. I would love to meet him one day. Zach, have you met anyone from Star Wars?
I only, I know the gal that was Sabine, and I know Darth Goofy, as it turns out. So that's pretty cool.
Darth Goofy, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, I had 4-day tickets to Star Wars Celebration in August, and I was going to fly out to Anaheim for that. I live in Oklahoma City these days, but I'm from Los Angeles. And other than that, I guess I've met a lot of famous people in passing. I once opened a bathroom door for Al Pacino at a circus.
No way.
Did you go?
That's what I said to him. I said I was like 12, and he was like intentionally dressed as a hobo. I opened the door for him, and even at 12, I had just watched the movie Scent of a Woman. Can I cuss? Am I able to cuss on here? Okay, because like literally at 12 years old, my thought was, as this guy walks past me through this shit-smelling bathroom door at a circus, goes,
like Brothers and Barnum Bailey circus.
It was Barnum and Bailey. Yeah. And
so random.
Yuck. He passes through this door, and we make eye contact, and I go, holy fuck, that's Al Pacino. And I'm 12. Yeah. And I also had a deeper voice when I was 12, so I literally went, holy fuck, that's Al Pacino. I walk out the bathroom door, and I look at my uncle who's standing outside the bathroom, and we make eye contact, and our eyes say to each other, holy fuck, that was Al Pacino. And so we're just standing there like monkeys, like waiting outside the bathroom, just waiting for Al Pacino to walk back out. He comes back out, and we both go, hooah!
Forget about it.
And he just shoots us a thumbs up and walks away. It was awesome.
Wait, is this in LA or
this was in Anaheim? So it was at the
Honda. That makes sense. Yeah.
It was then the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim, now the Honda Center. It's where the Ducks play hockey. Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, my favorite Al Pacino funny role is in Jack and Jill.
Never seen
it. Have you guys seen it? It's a terrible movie. Yeah, it's a terrible movie, but he has this scene in it where he's doing a commercial for Dunkin' Donuts, and he walks into Dunkin' Donuts, and they're like, hey, Al, that's not my name anymore. It's Dunk. And they're like, Dunkachino? And then they start singing a song. And the best part is, like, last month, someone on YouTube made an edit of that commercial, but it was if Ryan Johnson had directed that Dunkachino commercial, and it's the funniest video ever. I'll send it to you, Zach, after, because I know you'll love it.
I actually want to see this as well.
If I could find it, I'll put it up here. But
can I ask? I have a question for Luke.
Yeah,
for Luke. Are those Buzz Lightyear headphones or like...
No, they're not. It's just a term.
Oh, okay. It's like green and purple, right? Okay,
I might get like a glass thing and wear them when I'm doing
you should. I'm super excited for the cartoon, the animation that's coming out.
To infinity and beyond. Oh, with Chris Evans. Chris Evans is doing it.
Is that like where it's actually it's a toy, the actual Space Ranger?
No, it's not the toy, it's the actual
what it's based on.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I forgot about that.
Cool.
So
we're getting
stuff coming
close to when Disney did that Investors Day, they threw down they whipped out their proverbial donger and slapped it on all our faces. So
I just animate that.
Okay, we're getting close to the end of our time, but before we leave, I've already asked Zach the favorite moment, which is Lewis going into the void. But Luke and Lewis, I'm going to ask you guys if you have a favorite moment of Han Talks First, how we met, any topics we shared together, or a video you saw of mine. Luke, do you want to go first? Do you have a favorite moment between us?
Not a moment, but I enjoy the WandaVision episodes because I'm a fan of the MCU, but I'm not like a fan of the comics, or I'll miss things or I'll miss references. So it's always something I appreciate to kind of go in and see another perspective, because then it means I'll go back and watch it and go, oh, that's right. I'm excited for Friday. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's the ending. Is anyone else here watching WandaVision? What do you guys think?
Oh my god, like
amazing,
a masterpiece. Like it was Agatha.
I love that actress because she pops in comedies all over the place. She's like
she's in like every comedy. Yeah,
she's amazing. I'm finally glad she's getting the recognition.
And if anyone's seen Pleasantville, then that's
you told me about that. Yeah.
If you watch Pleasantville, you'll appreciate the first 2 episodes of WandaVision like loads more. It's so good.
Yeah.
Pleasantville's amazing. Such a good.
So I haven't watched the full thing, but I saw some clips of it because someone else made the same point you did, where it's essentially the same. Pleasantville is like WandaVision, but yeah, it's right on point. Lewis, you probably don't have one, but do you have a favorite moment?
I do. It's very mushy and sentimental. But no, I think the pre-production of it. Like I remember when this idea was such a small, like conscious, like seed, and it grew into this beautiful like 100 episode thing, and I'm really proud of you. So that's it. Like I remember when you first asked me if I could come on the show, and it's taken off, and I'm so proud. As a friend,
thank you,
brother.
Yeah, it's my goal to try and involve as many friends as I can onto this show. Some people, are just like, a Star Wars show. No, it's not for me. But like, even you, Lewis, who's like not a giant Star Wars fan as much as I am, or other guests that I have on the show, you still came on and we had a great conversation.
Yeah, I'm having so much fun. Please, like, invite me again. I would love to be on the show again.
I would love to. But what was that?
Sorry, like I'm currently like I need more knowledge because I'm currently like writing an epic, and I would love to like get more like Star Wars like influence.
Yeah, we have a for those of you listening, me and Lewis have a project coming out together soon. He actually wrote and directed a short film. I don't know if you want me to say as anything else other than that, but I worked on the music of it, and hopefully at some point we can release that and share with you guys.
Hopefully release next year after festivals, but
but keep your eyes and ears open for that, everybody, because and he has a bunch of other projects in the works as well. So before we get out, if you guys want to take a second and plug yourselves, where people can find your content or your social media, and any last thoughts you have. Zach, you were here the longest, so I'll start with you.
Oh, sure. You can find me on social media at Zach Valadon, and I've got a ton of sub things that you can find through there, but I'm a maker of things and doer of other stuff, so you can get a sense of that through there. But Han, thank you for having me on here, and congrats on 100 episodes. It's been, as being the first guest on the podcast, it's crazy to see the views that you're getting now, and I'll never forget driving out to your apartment on that first day and sketching out what we were going to talk about. So much fun.
Yeah, that's a great memory of mine. And that episode still to this day is, I think, third or fourth highest rated podcast, most viewed. So people really love that. So we have to do another one, maybe another top 10 or ranking of some sort. But no, thank you, dude, so much for coming here. Again, you guys can find him at the Pen the Sword podcast or Moonlife Coffee. I'll link that in the descriptions below, so check that out. Thank you, Zach, for being here. I will talk to you really soon.
Bless you, brother. Be well. Good to see you guys.
See ya.
See you later.
Bye, Zach.
And then for you guys, for Luke, do you want to tell people where they can find you as well, and if anything else you got coming up soon that people can look forward to as well?
Yeah, so you can Hoth podcast is the kind of initial that I've chosen because it's easy to find. So that's my Twitter and that's my Twitch. And then you can find Hoth the Press on YouTube. Again, Spotify, Apple Podcast, everything. I did a podcast last week with Mark Boston. I did one, on Saturday with First Galactic Podcast. And then coming up, I think I've got a voice actor on from the fan audio drama, The Adventures of the Zolan and Dart. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm just excited to kind of be in this podcasting space. I've been lucky with the podcast I've found, and there's no kind of, I'll say it, bullshit. It's just kind of good, even if you disagree. That people are just kind of okay. There's no kind of like die kind of shit.
Right.
And it's, I mean, I said it before. You're like one or two tweets away from being in Star Wars Twitter, like the worst part of it. You can click twice, see the replies, and that's it. You're down this rabbit hole of like, what?
Right.
Well, no, thank you very much for being on. It's really good to be on your 100th episode. 100 episodes is great.
I'm glad you joined us. Of course, for the listeners, I've been on his show once before. You can go find that. I'll link it below, and just follow his channel in general. He's got some other stuff coming up, and he does great content, great work. So I'm glad you told me you had a podcast before, and you kind of wanted to get back into it. Yeah. So I'm glad you came back into it. But we'll have you on for another episode, a little bit more traditional episode where we'll have some topics of discussion. But thanks for popping in and saying hello.
Thank you very much.
We'll stay in touch, and I'll see you on Twitter, my friend.
See you, Lewis.
See you, Luke.
Okay. Me and you.
You and I.
Where do you have anything you want to share with people? I know you have some projects you probably don't want to like say anything yet, but you could plug your social media or anything else where people could find you.
Of course, yeah. You guys can find me at le.woods Instagram. And the only project I really have coming out is a short film called A Guide of Being an Earthling. Super excited about that one. Should be coming out maybe in the year. But yeah, that's really it. Yeah. Cool. Again, I'm like really proud of like this progress. Like it's so good. Like everything that she created.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad you could be a part of it too. And same to you. We'll have you back on sometime on a more traditional episode. We can have some topics. This one was just for fun, just to kind of celebrate, hang out with a bunch of people. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. And I'll put your social media in the description so you listeners can check it out as well. But I will talk to you soon, my friend. So take care. May the force be with you.
Awesome. See ya.
And for the rest of you, we're going to hang out for just a little bit longer, talk about some other things, chat, answer any questions you have. But before we do, I am going to take a quick break because we've been going for 2 hours. So if you hang tight, we will be right back for more of Han Talks First. I got to grab some water and use the restroom, and then we'll be right back to talk about some more. So send in your questions now so we can talk about them later, and I'll see you guys very soon. Okay, I think we're back. Thank you guys for waiting just a second while I grab some more water. And how great was that? All these guests that came in and joined us today. Pretty cool, right? If you're still with us, welcome. Thank you for sticking around. You can subscribe if you haven't yet, and please like the video. Rural Farm Boy in the comments. I saw you mention that earlier. Thank you for plugging that for me. Please like this video. It helps out so much if you haven't already. So far, we have 7 likes. Let's see how many we can get on this video, shall we? And if you are watching on the YouTube, you can also listen on Spotify. You can follow us there on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Google, Stitcher, Overcast, everywhere you can find podcasts, we are there. But that was pretty fun, right? All those guests come in and share their thoughts. I'm not going to be on here much longer today. I just wanted to hang out and kind of tell you guys what you can expect from the podcast going into season 3. Again, here's the artwork, the new artwork for Han Talk's first podcast. And season 3, we're going to have a lot of great things coming up, such as I'm in talks with a Lucasfilm employee, a Lucasfilm artist, and I'm trying to line up a date with them to see when they can be on my show. And I'm very excited about it. And if it comes true, it'll be a very great episode, and one that'll be very exciting as well. So we have that. We have more segments coming to the show, such as a Star Wars replay. We'll be doing a lot of other things in the future, such as listener submitted questions. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about on the show, or you want me to talk about, and you haven't heard me speak on it, you can send those in, and I will pick one a week to dedicate about 10 to 15 minutes to, and we'll discuss it as a main topic here on the show. Very great show today. Thank you, Max. Thank you so much for listening. You've been here for a lot of live streams, and I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for all of you who have been here. Some people on Facebook are saying hello as well. Nice to see you on there. The Facebook page is relatively new. It was created 2 years ago, but eventually I'll go on there and put in some special kind of content that you guys can see there as well. Like I said, on the Instagram, we're starting this new series called Han's Hangouts, which you can join us for live. I did one yesterday with Aisa, and we just kind of talked about, whatever comes to mind. And I'll be doing another one tomorrow, and you can see that as well. And some other episodes you can look forward to, I mentioned earlier, is the philosophy of Star Wars, where we'll take a deep dive into the, most of the philosophical elements from the original trilogy, and more importantly, the prequel trilogy, because there's a lot more implemented into episode 1, 2, and 3 than there are in any of the other Star Wars films. But we'll be taking examples from philosophers throughout time, how it relates to modern day, and of course bringing up many different examples. There is a Revan video coming soon. I saw someone in the chat ask if they could do they said they were looking forward to a Revan video by Star Wars. But I'll actually be doing a top 10 about Revan, and I did one in the past before as well, talking about how Keanu Reeves would be a great pick for Darth Revan, which is still true to this day. But you can check that out as well. Some other stuff as well. We're going to try and bring the quality of the show up a little bit more. We just recently started doing YouTube like 2.5 months ago, so the setup I have here is still in the works, but there's some other great things coming, such as a new banner, some new logos, and all that other kind of stuff. And we just started on Twitch. I see 3 people on Twitch right now. Thank you for joining us. Twitch I literally have done nothing on Twitch yet except for this video, so I'm glad to see that as well. And of course, every Friday I will still be doing a Marvel talk show. This currently in rotation is the WandaVision after show, which I do with my girlfriend, and we talk about WandaVision. Imagine that. And we'll be doing a season finale today, or this Friday, for WandaVision, and can't wait to see that either. And for those of you who don't know about that show, check it out. This is the opening to that show, our opening little stinger. Oops, 1 second, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, there we go. So this is the opening to that show. pretty cool stuff. But honestly, that's all I have for you today. I just want to take a couple extra minutes and thank you for joining us and for supporting this channel and listening to the show. We will be back on Friday with the WandaVision after show and returning with Star Wars again on Monday for the latest and greatest in Star Wars. You guys are great. You've always been great. Can't wait to see what comes of this show going forward. And yeah, thank you for 100 episodes. And we will be back very soon. So stick around. More videos to come on YouTube. Now, somehow, some way, somewhere this week. May the Force be with you.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.